This is going to be one of them there days, y'all. Good morning. I'm Rayford
Okay.
Brown.
We're live. I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrels. I
Yeah.
think. I think so.
Oh,
Well, okay,
that's-
we're good now.
It's fun to have fun with these young ladies in the morning when
I'm
they
like,
are
what?
like, "What is going? Huh? What are you doing? I can't hear anything." I said, "It's because we're not talking yet. We're talking inside here, but down in your head. That's the problem." Wonderful, wild Wednesday. It is officially.
Oh, I'm up now. What did you say? Finally, I got the headphones working.
It is officially. What day of the week is it?
It is hump day.
Thank you. Good gracious.
We need to
Hump,
get
hump,
like a
hump
little
day.
camel that walks behind us,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the
Can
commercial.
you all
Get a
You want
pet.
to go out and come back in again?
Well, everything was fine until I tried to get all this stuff up on the screen and it was acting up.
Is it still acting up?
And I'm so used to music first that
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
realize.
Kelly can sing for you.
Kelly's going to have to start singing.
What you gonna sing?
I don't know.
No.
I was in chorus in middle and high school, but
So was I.
Did you?
I
Did
was
you
in a
make it through, or
musical.
did they kick you out? Which is it?
they kept me in there.
Okay. Well, that's good. Sing
Yeah.
something.
I was in
No.
two
I mean, I
high
didn't sing
school.
solos or anything like that. I wasn't gonna do anything.
Oh, I had
but
to
I'm not
high
gonna hurt
school
anybody's
play.
feelings.
I was the understudy for one of the parts, and opening day, she got laryngitis.
Oh
Nice.
no.
So then you had
It was
to
a
do it.
nightmare.
Nice.
It was a nightmare. I think that was in the play Mame. We did Mame.
Mame.
And then the following year, we did Oliver, Jacksonville High School.
Oh, okay.
Fun days.
Back in the day, I think the first play that, well, when I was in school, in high school, the first one that was put on, I believe it was like my sophomore year, perhaps, and it was. No, South Pacific was Oklahoma was the first one. South
Oh,
Pacific was
yeah.
the second one, and I forgot what the third one was.
I
So-
loved it. That was one of my best times in high school was being involved in
Yeah.
the music department, and I loved it.
Of course, I was in the. I was taking electronics at the time, and everybody knew me for
So
what I
did my
did.
brother.
Yeah, everybody knew me for what I was doing, and
Yes.
they knew that I was a freak,
Right.
talking to
Uh-uh.
people all over the world like I do now. Oh, yesterday, 10-meter band was wide open, which is really close to the CB band. You would have been hot yesterday on CB, talking all over the world.
Really?
Yeah, there were stations
Wow.
out there running 5, 6, 7 watts, ham stations. They have.
That's pretty
Some people
cool.
do it for fun, low power.
I still have to get in there and start
You
studying
need to study
and take that.
get the real test.
Just yes.
But anyway, my part, they asked me to be in the play. Like I know
Really?
nothing about acting, right?
Oh, please. You were probably the star. Who are you kidding?
Oh, I was because I controlled the lights. I did all of the lights.
Nice.
They'd gotten a brand new dimmer in.
Mhm.
It's a big stage dimmer type
Yeah,
thing, and
yeah.
so they brought me in to try to not teach me, but for me to teach them
Teach
what it
him
was
how
all
to do it
about.
because you knew how to
Seriously.
operate it.
And
I believe that.
I was actually helping them hook it up because the folks there at the school, great as they were not electronic or electrical geniuses.
Right.
And apparently, even as a sophomore, I guess I was by that time, I was much beyond them.
Okay.
I've been wiring houses for 2 years, even before I had a driver's license, and of course I had my ham radio license. So I knew that kind of stuff. And then
That's pretty cool.
I got to work the lights for 3 years in a row. They
Oh,
wanted me to
wow.
do they had the scenes laid out. So here's what the director wanted to be done. And I said,
Who was-
that's not a big deal.
Who was the band director back then?
Mr. Gaskins.
Oh, he was. Yeah,
Bob
that man
Bob
scared me.
Gaskins. Oh, yeah.
He
Why?
scared me because
Nice guy.
we'd be up there rehearsing, and somebody would talk, and he'd take
Oh,
that
well,
little
yeah.
stick and hit the podium, and everybody jumped and froze.
Well, he hit the podium because they took away the other stick that he broke over somebody's head.
Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
And then when he gave you all that look,
oh, the
We were
stare,
like,
ice cold.
we're going to be here till 1 a.m.
Okay, dokie. A busy time yesterday, so we're going to do politics, of course. But first, we're going to do this
What
thing.
We're going to do a thing.
Oh, wait, I can't. What are you doing to me, Rayford?
What did I do now?
Oh, the chair's in the way. Oh, that's right. Okay. I was like, I'm so
Oh,
confused. What is
That's
going on
updated,
with
by the
us?
way. That's just one. Now there are 3.
What?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
how do we only? Where are the other two?
Well, I'll show those to you in a minute.
Okay.
But this is the one that's critical right
I'm gonna have
now.
to
Yeah, I
look
agree
at
with
it.
that.
Potentially critical.
Yeah.
It is called Helene. And Helene is now almost a hurricane. It will be today.
Mhm.
And it's still in the Caribbean, kind of right there on the northeastern part of the Yucatan and down in Mexico. And it will become a hurricane within just hours. So stand by for that. And then overnight, it'll be a hurricane. And then it'll continue as a hurricane. And then overnight, before end of day tomorrow, it's going to be a major hurricane. And then Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, going to early morning hours of Friday, it's going to be making landfall as a major hurricane along the Gulf Coast there, the panhandle of Florida. They got warnings now up from quite a ways down the Florida West Coast, all the way up through the panhandle, through most of the panhandle. And they got some this normally when makes landfall, it quickly diminishes. Well, this one will drop down too. But once it's still going to go across Florida, not into the Atlantic, but straight up into Georgia, and it'll be in the western part of Georgia. Atlanta, make welcome Helene, if you would, please. And if you folks have got any travel plans that involve flying out of here on Delta, and you might want to check them because Friday, probably not going to be a good day at Atlanta at the airport there. Then the storms, it'll become a tropical depression. First, a tropical storm. I don't know exactly when, but it'll lose strength rapidly once it gets into Georgia, and maybe somebody will steal some votes while it's there, and then move on up into. Believe it or not, it's going remnants, parts of it as a depression, going to impact the extreme western part of North Carolina in the beginning. And what's weird is going to go into Tennessee and then into Kentucky. And then it's going to come back. It's going to turn south, due south. About 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock on between 1 a.m. Saturday and 1 a.m. Sunday. It's going to do a hard 90-degree turn to the left and come back south. How far it's going to go? Probably nowhere, unless it comes our way. Don't know what's going to happen, but it is going to be. We're going to get some rain, y'all, this weekend. It's not going to look good. Beginning tomorrow, probably. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit too. So anyway, prepare thyselves. We should not have anything but some little breeziness. I was talking to one of the guys yesterday afternoon, up in the Outer Banks, one of the hams up there during one of the networks, and he's another house went down.
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, yeah.
That's 3 this week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 7 total already. 10. 10 since
It's up to 10
2020.
now. Yeah.
Yes.
For the Wow. My goodness gracious. So that was the first one collapsed last Friday.
Yes.
High surf and king tides, they call them, battered the beach. The next to go was later that night, right next door to the first one.
Right.
The latest collapse happened shortly after 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
It's going to take out that
That
other
home
one.
nearly taken out the house next door. So one more to go. And actually, there are 2 more on that street, that little section. So they're going to clean the surf. They're going to clean that whole frontal area.
Yeah.
I'm going to recommend, guys, do yourself a favor, especially if you're thinking about, I'm going to build me a place there on the beach. I'm going to buy me a place on the beach. Don't not do it, but just be aware of your investment. You're going to pay a lot of money for insurance, and you're going to be requested to leave your home on any number of occasions if and when storms are coming our way. When they start evacuating, you're going to have something packed so you can get off the beach, not just your nice stuff to survive with, but you're going to be wanting to keep those things that are precious memories. Now, what you going to do? You're going to get a big old waterproof case and take it with you, have it ready to go? How much can you pack in your vehicle as you get ready to leave? Do you need an off-premises storage warehouse? I don't know. That's up to you. They used to treat beach houses as just that, beach houses for weekends, nothing, not permanent living. That's not the way it works anymore. It's so gorgeous to be there. I would love to live there year round, but wow, just the aggravation would be a pain for me. The sand itself is a pain for me. I'm not a big fan of traipsing sand in all the time. And if you go outside, you're going to bring sand inside. Just the fact of life.
I would just rather like go and rent a
Go-
condo that's like 7-8 floors up. You
Go
can
and
leave the windows open. Don't have to worry about bugs. Listen to the
Okay.
ocean.
Yeah. So anyway, pick up a book. It's written back in the 80s or 70s by Dr. Orrin Pilkey. He was a professor at Duke University, as I recall. I think was he teaching geology? Whatever he was. Anyway, he wrote a book, Dynamic Zone. The dynamic zone is that area right along the beachfront. And he said that the dynamic part of that, I've talked with him quite a bit in those days. The dynamic part means moving, constantly shifting. And you think about it, those sands are constantly moving.
All right.
People complain about erosion and how to control it. You cannot. You can try, but Mama Nature will come through. The case in point, these 10 homes since 2020 at Rodanthe, just one beach,
Yes.
one small section of that beach,
Right.
gone or going. Yeah, they're gone. And at least 2 more likely doomed. So the dynamic zone, it's ever moving, ever shifting. The sands do not stay put. You can try all you want to do, but they're going to move around. There are places where it doesn't matter. They studied a lot. A little island that runs between, it's about 8 miles long, between Wrightsville Beach and Carolina Beach. It's called Masonboro Island.
Mm-hmm.
There are no structures there. It's an uninhabited island. Fishermen go, beachgoers go by boat. I've been by helicopter just to say that I could land there in a helicopter. And of course, by boat many times. It's a nice place. Go have a nice outing. Just clean up your dang trash, would you? But that island, they've studied it. They put markers and stuff in there, geological survey, and they've studied that island moves inward with as the tides and the currents and whatever take away the sand on the frontal side. Takes it away, brings it through the inlet, and deposits it on the backside. And then, come springtime, it takes it off the backside, puts it back on the front side.
Nice.
It's
rearranging.
nature
Yeah.
at work.
Yeah.
Right.
The problem gets to be if you decide you want to build out there on the ocean front, close to the ocean, where everybody's got to be. Well,
Nothing.
guess what happens? Down in Oak Island, one of the beaches there, down in Brunswick County, they had an entire, it used to be, First Street was the street, I think it was named First Street. First Street was the street right along the ocean front, right? Well, it washed all the houses and the road away. Second Street became the equivalent of First Street. They didn't rename it, but they just called it Second Street. Second Street was the ocean front. I don't know if it's still doing that or not.
Mhm,
Probably is. But we used to joke, 10th Street will be ocean front soon.
Nice.
And it would not surprise me. That's the way things happen down
It's
there.
like I told you, I have a friend that lives right there at the beach,
Mhm.
and he's been doing live videos and ever since the first one started dropping, and it's just really interesting. And the
It's
one that
sad.
just
All
recently
of that
fell,
development.
he was just showing that over the weekend and said, yeah, you could see it starting to twist at the bottom. And then, boom, there he was.
All right, before we get into the world of politics and okay.
We have a caller. Just real quick before we get in that phone call, all high school football games have been moved to Thursday night this week in lieu of
So-
Friday.
Tomorrow night we got to go to Newbern for
So
Jacksonville
yeah,
Cardinals.
that's right. Jacksonville
Ooh.
Cardinals are playing Newbern, who just beat
Ooh.
Havelock last week.
Yeah, a powerhouse.
Yeah, we know Havelock.
Well, maybe they were weakened. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure Chris will catch us up on all of that.
Yeah. Good morning. Who's this?
It's Mike.
Hey, Mike, how are
Hey,
you?
Mike.
Good, how y'all?
We're hanging in here.
Hey, y'all left out the north end getting washed out past few weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna
north end
bring
of
up-
North Topsail, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They've had had a lot of issues there. A lot of houses get undermined. You know, I'd hate to go to bed where yesterday I was having to toss my line way out there in the ocean to catch fish, and this morning I can wake up and just drop the line straight down and catch fish.
Yep. You know where they messed up, Rayford?
I know. I remember. I was here.
Building.
When they knocked the dunes down and put houses up.
There was a gentleman here at the time that owned a bunch of property at that end of the island. I cannot remember his name to save my life, but there was an undeveloped end of the island. So he decided, you know what, I can push these dunes down. I can get 2 rows of houses here if I try real hard. And he moved literally. I shot 16 millimeter film, believe that, of him on a bulldozer himself, pushing the sand dune down and pushing
that's
it
neat.
towards the ocean.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's the
They
problem.
gotta have the dunes. I
And he,
think Onslow Beach does pretty good on its own because it's not really developed down towards past the officers in
Uh-huh.
Browns Island and all that. I don't think they have a big erosion problem.
I don't know. They won't let me there. They don't even like you being there in a boat close to the pier, Riley's Pier. Yeah, they don't like you down. They don't like you down that neck of the woods. You get close to the pier and a horn goes off.
Yeah, you can get up there in Browns Inlet and all that and fish up in there.
Yeah,
But those islands, I don't think they have the problems that the ones that are developed have.
they do not. I mean, the erosion occurs, just like I said about Masonboro Island down on the south part, down in New Hanover County. It moves back and forth. The sand is taken from the front, deposited on the back, then it's turned around and, you know, during the climate changes and whatever that we go through during the seasonal changes, it's not climate changes, then the backside, then the sand comes out, washes out the inlet, comes back around and gets deposited on the front side.
Yeah. I tell you what'll fix it all is if we get another hurricane like Fran and come in that same direction with that same intensity, it'll clean that island up.
Yeah, if it comes in at the right tide, and especially if it comes in like Hurricane Hazel did 1954, October 15th. I think it was the 15th. But anyway, if we get one like Hazel and comes in on a high tide and it's a full moon, Carolina Beach, that whole boardwalk, gone. There was not a whole lot left downtown. It was a mess. I remember seeing the pictures of it.
Yep. Well, I just wanted to call in and remind you about the north end.
Yeah, we know the north end is there. And, you know,
Everybody forgets about the north end.
no, I don't forget about it because I spent a lot of time up there when the north end was the north end without people and houses.
Yeah, the only time it ever gets any recognition is when somebody drowns over there.
Well, I don't know. We've talked quite a bit about the erosion there. Matter of fact, I did a whole bunch of stuff a few years ago. Forgot where I posted the pictures, probably on a blog I was doing, because I shot pictures from the ocean. I got right up close and personal there, and the undermining of the homes, you could see it, and then all of the work that was done, the emergency sandbags and big bags that were brought in to try to stave off the ocean from continuing to come in.
I wonder why the federal government never put a jetty in right there at New River
Because
Inlet, since they go in and out.
it's not the federal government. It's some well-meaning CAMA people and some do-gooders and some tree huggers. And I don't know. Everything else is dirty in my mind. But they say that it impacts the entire island. And it will cause erosion further south. You put a jetty in there, it will cause erosion further south, and the homes will be damaged. Well, I refer you to the south end of Masonboro, Wrightsville Beach. Yeah, there are 2 jetties there. There was one, then they put a second one in, and I've got photographs of that jetty from the air back in the early 90s or late 80s. That's a beautiful image.
Yeah, it holds a lot of sand right
It
there on the
does.
south end of
Yep.
Wrightsville. We surf there.
Yeah.
Real
Yeah,
good.
it's great.
And
And on the south side, There's nothing over there, but there's a big buildup of sand on the south side of that jetty.
It probably stops what you're talking about then when it shifts the sand to the backside of the island.
On that
That's
end,
probably what it gets in the way
yeah,
of.
on that end, it does. It slows it down, but it stabilizes the inlet. That inlet needs very little dredging,
Yeah.
and I have been forced, to my chagrin. I've gone out New River Inlet. Went out one year. My brother-in-law and I did. We got out. It was dicey getting out. That was before Florence. It was dicey getting out because the inlet was so shallow, but we got out. Coming back in, and if you're familiar with boating, it lays down tracks on my GPS. So I decided I'll come back in the same tracks I went out. As soon as I got too near the bar that was okay, supposed to be the right place, where the same place I went out, hit bottom, backed it down just as hard as I could, waves breaking over the stern, and I filled the boat about, had about 6 inches of water in the boat.
What inlet was this?
New River Inlet.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to say. Sounds like.
And then I backed down and I called I called Towboat and asked them about the inlet. They said, nope, you can't get through there. It's socked in now. You're out of luck. And he said, I would strongly suggest you head towards Wrightsville Beach, go in Masonboro. I started in that direction, and some of the boaters said, why don't you stop at New Topsail Inlet there on the south end of Topsail Island and try that. I took a look at that as I went by, and I said, no, there's nothing but white here. There's nothing available for me to see because this is an unmarked channel too. And then I said, well, Coast Guard was listening to me, so they called me to Wrightsville Beach and said, do not try anything except Masonboro Inlet. You're this far south, come on down. Glad I had gas on board, because it took me 35 miles additional going down to get to Masonboro Inlet. And of course, I had to come back up the Intercoastal Waterway.
Yeah.
And that's another 35 miles just to get to back where I was started from. 70 miles lost. 70 miles lost.
How fast that boat run?
At that time, it would run about 38 miles an hour.
And you can run that in the waterway?
Oh, I was running that in the inlet, in the ocean.
Oh, okay.
I had a following
Wow.
sea. I have two inlets that I can go to depending upon which direction the waves are coming from. It was coming off my stern, so I was headed for Masonboro Inlet. If it had been coming the other way, I would have gone to Beaufort Inlet.
Beaufort. Yeah, Bogue is no walk in the park either.
No, I'm not going to go to Bogue. No, I don't want to go to Bogue on a good day because I don't know it.
Yeah, you got to know Bogue.
I don't. So I'm not going there.
Yeah, and
So
New River, shoot, that damn inlet will switch bi-weekly sometimes.
it changes more often than most people change their underwear.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Mike.
All right, baby, I got
Thank you. Appreciate it.
going.
Thanks,
Thank
Mike.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
Mike.
Okie dokie. Let me get this scroll back up here to the next thing we're going to do. The midweek marine forecast brought to you by Community Prevention Services. If you get mad at the drop of a hat, like I did this morning looking for my heating pad.
We won't talk about that.
No, we don't want to talk about that because you see it over there. It's in
Uh-huh.
two parts. My
Right,
fault.
Come on now.
My fault. If you get mad at the drop of a hat, an issue that has no history with you, oftentimes the onset of pent-up anger, sometimes triggered by the most frivolous of events, can cause stress, anxiety, or depression. Having a broken arm or walk in the park because you know it's going to heal and that everything will be fine after it's all healed up. Not a big deal. It's a physical thing that you get fixed. We all know there's light at the end of that tunnel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uncontrolled reaction to seemingly harmless irritants, especially when it's out of character for you, may be a sign for you to seek a little help. The counselors at Community Prevention Services, they're all willing to help you work out and work on whatever is triggering your abnormal reactions. Now, a lot of people have these reactions, and it might be just a way of life for them, as long as they don't get out of control. Some people live with that. Okay. But if it breaks bad, if you start breaking bad and it's not your usual thing and it continues and you're not controlling it and you just get madder and madder at the most frivolous of things, that might be a sign.
Might be.
Give them a call over there to set up an appointment. That might prove to be the best move you've taken in a long time. The number, Community Prevention Services, is 910-353-0972. 910-353-0972. Counselors are standing by, and they'll gladly schedule an appointment to begin the process of working on issues that are bugging you. Locally owned and operated, the team actually cares about you, and they will work together with you on a treatment plan to get you up and running. They also accept most insurance plans, and they don't talk about whatever you talk about to anyone else. And your counselor. 910-353-0972. Offshore out to 20 nautical miles. It's a key forecast today, okay? High pressure will remain anchored to the north throughout today as a warm front approaches eastern North Carolina from the west and stalls. Tropical storm Helene, which will be a hurricane shortly, will pass through the southeast U.S. at the week's end and bring a period of heavy rain and gusty winds to this area. Yep. Today is looking pretty good, though, so you want to take advantage of it if you plan to go offshore. Keep an eye on the weather. It could break bad at any time. Southeasterly winds 5 to 10 is the forecast. Seas 2 to 4. Sounds and rivers are light chop. Tomorrow, southeasterly winds forecast 10 to 15 knots. Seas 3 to 5, 2 to 4 near shore and subject to change. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Conditions will begin to deteriorate, and you might want to keep an eye on changing weather patterns. Then on Friday, not looking so good, as a likely hurricane will be passing well to our west, but it will create some windy conditions even along the coast. Southeasterly winds 20 to 25 knots, becoming southerly 15 to 20 in the afternoon. Gusts up to 30, seas 6 to 9 feet. Near shore, seas 5 to 7, building to 7 to 8 in the afternoon. Sounds and rivers rough, diminishing to choppy in the afternoon.
Today, partly sunny, a high of 83. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 71. On Thursday, mostly cloudy, high of 84. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 74, and then the rain starts to potentially creep in. Friday, it's going to rain. High of 84. Showers and thunderstorms. The winds will be southeast 13 to 15 miles an hour with 25-mile-an-hour gusts. Friday night, a little the same with a low of 70. But on Saturday, according to this, mostly sunny, a high of 86, and Sunday is partly sunny, high of 85. So if things go accordingly, it may not rain Saturday, but let's not say either way yet.
Ocean will, leftover ocean is not a good thing.
Yeah.
Give it a couple of days.
Yeah.
After big waves are there, give it a couple of days.
Yeah.
At least. All right?
Oh, yes, because they're
That
calling
means
for dangerous
Rip currents
currents.
will be there.
Yes.
So just stay out.
It's
all
a
right?
high risk right now.
I like stories, read stories, and they got a moral at the end of them.
Okay.
And a lot of service-oriented people might want to pay attention to this one. Clerks and all that sort of good stuff.
All right.
Those folks.
Okay.
This old lady, hate to call them that, but I can do that because I'm old. I'm not a lady. An old lady goes to her bank. She has the bank card, her bank card, to the teller and said, I want to withdraw $10.
Okay.
Not a big deal, right?
Nope.
The teller, kind of smart alecky, for withdrawals under $100, $100, please use the ATM out front. It was kind of ugly weather. Not a nice thing to say, right?
Right.
The old lady wanted to know why.
Rude.
So the teller gave her back her bank card and said in an irritated tone, these are the rules. Please leave if you have nothing more to do here. There is a line of customers waiting behind you. By that time, she could have given her $10 50 times over, right?
Agreed.
Right.
What a jerk.
The snobby teller then checked the old lady. The old lady then said, here's my card back. I want to withdraw all of the money
Good
in
for
my
you.
account.
Mhm.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
I've done that.
Yes.
The snobby teller then checked the old lady's account.
Uh-oh.
she leaned over and said respectfully at that time, "You have $300,000 in your account, but the bank does not have that much money on hand at this moment.
I'll be like, you better give me my money.
Could you make an appointment and come back tomorrow?"
Nah.
The old lady then asked how much money she could withdraw right now. The teller said she could get up to $3,000. That's all they could do at one time. "Well, I would like to withdraw $3,000, please." The teller at that time was kind, and she handed her $3,000 and smiled. The old lady put $10 in her purse, asked the teller to deposit $2,990
that
back
was
into her
coming. Love it.
account.
And I would have went and asked for the bank manager
I
and
knew
told him I
that.
The
wanted my
moral of
money.
the story is never underestimate old people. They have spent a lifetime learning.
I agree.
That's the moral of that story.
Yes.
A great story. Substitute me for that kind, gentle old lady.
Mm-hmm.
No, I won't carry my gun in and pull my gun on them.
That was
But at the
probably
point
Rosemary.
It
in
was.
time, I asked to withdraw the $3,000 from my account, I would have insisted that it be in $1 bills. That the teller counted in front of me with a manager present as a witness. Once that's done, I would have taken the money, pulled out 10 $1 bills, then handed the rest of the money back to the teller and tell her to deposit it, humming a merry little old tune as I walked
That's what I would have done.
fun out the door. Was that
It was, you need to call her because you didn't answer her.
okay?
Yeah.
Y'all got something to do, right?
Yeah.
Sure, we have something to do. Kelly, I was just looking. A news just broke out of LA this morning, and it was a suspect goes on to one of the buses in LA, shoots a passenger,
Yes.
and hijacked the bus, sparking a huge police chase. Now,
Yes.
wouldn't of you love to watch that police chase?
Oh man, I know, and I'm gonna go back and watch it tonight.
Oh, man.
I know it'll be on. You know, I found a police chase channel on.
No.
What is that? What is that channel? My daughter showed me. I had this Pluto.
Oh, yes.
They have a whole police chase channel.
Look, I was watching On Patrol Live Friday
Uh-huh.
night, and the one police department in Arkansas,
Mhm.
Chief Radley Taylor, they're always on the interstate and high speed
Yeah.
chases. They actually got in a wreck live that night.
Oh wow!
And another police car involved in it. That was freaky.
Oh wow!
Airbags went off, and you actually saw it happen.
Oh, that's no.
But they're all good.
Well, I'm glad about that.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to reach Dr. Rose. Maybe she said I snubbed her, so she's going to snub me.
Yeah.
I hope not. Anyway,
Sometimes the morning just gets away from me.
it does.
It's like,
And,
oh yeah.
I kind of had forgotten what day it was, how that goes. Let's see.
Good morning.
Good
Well,
morning,
good
Dr. Rose. How
morning.
are you? Sorry I missed your call. It was my fault totally, except I'm
Rayford.
going to blame Lee.
No, it was Rayford. We kept saying phone.
Yeah.
It's all right. I knew you'd get back to me.
So how are you doing?
Doing well. Illness is kind of a low right now. We
Yay.
don't have too many sick kids. We have had a few with COVID and strep and bronchiolitis, which just is sort of a
Ooh,
form
that
of airway
sounds-
disease for
Mhm.
little kids, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot. Last week on Monday, we had about 25 to 30 sick calls. I think this week we had half of that. So that might be reflective of what you're seeing out there. They're either
Wow.
very sick or they're not sick enough for the parents to call at all.
All right. Well, I help me out here. Other than Kelly, because she stayed sick for 2 weeks with COVID recently,
It was rough.
and it was a rough time for
It
her.
was terrible. Yeah.
Are the COVID cases you're seeing? Are you seeing anything like that? Are they just kind of like a cold and very infectious?
For the most part, what we're seeing is it's like a bad cold.
Okay.
Better than the flu, less severe than the flu, but more severe than a cold.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we do have our exceptions of kids that don't recuperate as quickly. So maybe they develop pneumonia
Uh-huh.
or a really bad ear infection. So there is a lot of, aftermath
Right.
to the COVID. So you got to be aware of that. And if somebody has an immune system that doesn't quite work well, like Miss Kelly,
Mhm.
then you're more predisposed to having a longer bout of the post COVID stuff, and you're also more predisposed to having. And one of the worst things you could have afterwards is pneumonia, because
Oh.
it just affects your airways.
Yeah. I've had a minor case. They called it minor case of what they called walking pneumonia. I really didn't know I was sick, but I did not have the air capacity. So that's what they finally diagnosed it with one time. But that was it. But I don't want that again.
Mm-mm.
Not being able to breathe is awful feeling.
Yes, it is, and you don't even understand why you get up and walk a few steps and have to sit down.
Mm-hmm.
So that especially if a child has that, and you're seeing that he just can't participate in his normal activities and has to sit down, that is a warning sign, and that child should get checked out and probably have an X-ray.
Okay. Are doctor's offices getting the flu vaccination and the COVID vaccination and the whatever else I got to have? Or are you guys getting plenty of that now? Is it time?
It should be time. We're waiting on our supply. It should be arriving by early next week.
Okay.
But just be on the lookout, and you can start calling your provider, or sometimes the local pharmacies are able to get it earlier. We're dependent on the state, because most of our supply comes from, let's say, sort of like Medicaid.
Right.
So we have to wait until they ship them to us.
Yeah, I want to. I want everything that I got to have when I go to mine, so I get it all one trip, one time, one and done, and going home. It doesn't bother me to get a bunch of shots like that at one time. I've done it before, and nothing seems to interact with each other, so I'm good to go.
Very good. And as I've said before, parents, if something has worked in your home, that's a good thing to stick by. If you try to pass and you seem to be getting sick and sicker, maybe that didn't work so well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've had your flu shots in the past and your kids have done well and you've protected yourself mostly from the flu every year, this is time to start thinking about it, because you really do want to get that flu shot in within the first couple of weeks of October, if at all
Sure.
possible, to let your body develop the immunity to it.
And to a little bit more to advise parents and everybody, we're moving into the triple threat here. What I think is a triple threat. We've got Halloween a month away, then we got Thanksgiving less than a month from that, then we got Christmas, then we got all the parties. Well, that's 4 of them. We got 4 different major events where people get together, and close and personal.
And the kids are steadily in school, and I really thought that the triple threat that you were going to tell us about is that now you have COVID.
Yep.
And then you have the flu. If you
Right.
put that together with sinus C stuff and strep, that's a real triple threat out there. And I believe that all the triple threat that you said, together with the triple threat that I said, and given that COVID, and hopefully because COVID really affected a lot of people in the summer, it won't hit us as hard now in the winter. But we'll have to see what happens in the next 5 to 6 months.
Interesting that you mentioned that. I remember back in the days, the heyday of the COVID. We were all waiting. Yes, in 2020, the winter of 2020, we were all waiting for the summer to get here so COVID could burn off, and it sort of did. But why are more people were getting COVID this summer? I don't understand. Supposedly the sun would burn it off and then we were good to go, but now people are getting COVID in the summertime.
Not this summer. Yeah, not this summer. It's a funny bug, this COVID. It doesn't do just about anything that we expect it to, so that the incidence rose in the summer, and we were expected it to die, just like you said. But hopefully most of it died out, because just about everybody I know has had COVID at least in this calendar year.
Wow. Whew. Well, maybe it's got immunity built up now finally.
Yes, and it's better if it's going to be one thing one-time thing in 2024. I think it's better to have gone through it in the summer. We all built our immunity. We're not going to catch it at least right away, so that there's a little bit less illness. Because if you get COVID together with the flu, that's a recipe for disaster. And so maybe now that we're thinking about it, it was a good thing that we did get it in the summer. We got that done with. We boosted our immunity. You can have your COVID shots and help boost that immunity even more, so that the kiddos don't have to have a miserable winter this year.
Okay. Well, I hope hopefully this year will be a lot easier year for them, and they can actually learn something. They can get taught some things.
Right, exactly, and that's the best time for learning when you're a kid. I did see something about that. Our test scores were a bit better.
Yes, I did. Got that.
Comparatively, this year, even compared to other kids in other states. So, sounds like maybe we got something right last year, and hopefully that trend will continue. Our kids, they deserve every little bit that they can get.
Absolutely. I got something. I went into that one just a little bit deeper in that story, so we'll be talking about that in just a minute too. It's called AP classes. So
that's right. The AP class.
I had no clue what that was. AP to me is Associated Press, but that's just me.
What I follow.
All right. Dr. Rose, thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you next week.
You got
All
it.
right.
Thank you. We won't push that one down again. We'll push
That's the
this one
first thing I
down.
thought of when you said AP. I was like,
AP,
what?
yeah, we're learning how to do Associated Press does stories,
Right.
or whatever. We have a caller holding here. Good morning. Hello?
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you now.
Hey, thank you very much. It's Charlie calling.
Hey,
Hi,
Chucky,
Charlie.
how are you? What's
How are
up?
you?
So, you know how sometimes people call in and they give you guys information, and half the audience says, he's lying. He's a Trump person. And the other half said, he's lying. He's a Kamala person. You guys
Absolutely.
like facts, right?
Yeah, we enjoy that. I mean, we're that way. The way I used to say it when I was in the mainstream media, if I ticked off the Democrats and I ticked off the Republicans, and they were each calling me complaining about I was giving more time to the other party, I was doing things.
Okay, so let me ask you, do you know who Dr. J. Varma, V-A-R-M-A is? Dr. J. Varma. Do you guys know who he is?
No, but I'm about to look him
not
up.
right away, but go ahead. I got my
Sure.
Google specialist to my left.
Okay.
He's fired
So I'm gonna
from
take it
current
forward.
job after COVID era sex party.
Can I
That's the
say
first thing
something?
that
Can I
popped
say
up.
something?
Yes, you may.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So a lot of times when people call into shows, they're like, this person is pro-Trump. He's a racist. They go out in fields with tiki torches and they kill Hispanics and blacks. And then you've got the Democrats are like, this person is this. Okay, this is an absolute fact. It's absolutely 1 billion, 1 trillion, 1 gazillion undeniable. Dr. J. Varma, during the COVID crisis, he was a czar. He was a person in charge under Mayor Bill de Blasio. He was the guy that told everybody, you need to listen to me. You're all going to die if you don't listen to me. But guess what this guy was doing during the whole COVID crisis?
Hiding.
Sex parties.
Yeah. Sex parties with his wife, nude sex parties, lots of sex. And he was talking about, there's so many disturbing things about this guy. Hold on. Okay. He said, I did all this deviant, like sexual stuff while I was like, like on TV and stuff. People were like, aren't you afraid? Aren't you embarrassed? And I was like, no. Actually, I'm like, I love being my authentic self. He said this in July 27th. Now, the mainstream media will never say this. It's absolutely true. It's not edited. By the way, he was taking a drug called MDMA. Do you guys know what MDMA is?
Nope.
Okay,
Yes.
so here's a quote from him. He goes, my wife and I had one with our friends in August. So we rented a hotel. We all took, by the way, this is a prestigious professor. Who says, Anyway, that's another story. Anyway, he goes, Molly. And it was 8
Oh,
or
yeah.
9
I know
of
what it
us.
is.
Okay, so methyl, I'm gonna try to pronounce this. So it's
Good
like
luck.
23 words.
That's the reason they call it MDMA and Molly.
Right. It's methylemia diacetylmethamphetamine. You know what? I think that's pretty good for the first time saying that. Anyway, it's commonly known as ecstasy. Now remember, this was the guy that the United States of America in New York City said, you know what? We trust him. He gets it better than anybody. This guy was probably done, probably sex with lots of, women and probably men too. And this is a monster. And he discontinues his Twitter page. Why would he do that? What does he have to hide? Here's the reality. I'm not sure if anybody in your panel fell for the COVID test. I'm sure some of your parents, maybe your grandmothers, your mothers got it. If they did, I'm not judging you, but I think looking in hindsight, you're probably thinking to yourself, am I allowed to use profanity on this?
No, depends.
Okay, you're probably thinking to yourself, in hindsight, I kind of wish they wouldn't have gotten the shot. And if any of you guys got the shot, not judging you, but you got to be thinking to yourself, I kind of reject it. Can I ask you guys, did any of you guys get the COVID shot?
I got COVID before there was a shot first. And then when the shots,
Did you get the shot?
I got the shots after I had COVID. Yes, and I have not had COVID since.
Do you regret it? Do you regret it now?
No, I do not.
Why not?
Why should I? I haven't had COVID.
I've had every one of the shots, every one of the boosters. I've only had COVID once. It was nothing more than a headache. I have had friends that have died from COVID. But I also took the shot for measles and all the other vaccinations that I had when I was a child. I've not suffered any effects. I know there's two sides to everybody's opinion on COVID. One is we're all going to die who took the shot, and the other side is like you need to be vaccinated. So it's personal choice.
I don't want any of that. Can I say something?
Yeah, it's your personal choice, and mine too. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't want any of you guys. I like you guys. I don't want any of you guys to get sick or get hurt. But can I ask you a question? Okay, so let's say the same virus pops up again just before the election. Something's going to pop up. Would you get the shots again?
I'm probably going to get the next one because I think I'm due for one now.
I just had one last
Yeah.
week. Flu
Okay,
too.
can I say something to you guys?
Sure.
Yes, you may.
Why you guys? I like you guys. Why not
thank you.
just start working out, like walking briskly 4 to 6 miles per day? Maybe cut back on a certain saturated fat. You guys are strong. Build your immune system. Maybe just walk 5 or 6 miles a day. Just go out there and walk. And you know what? You know what's a great app and to do this by? There's an app called Under Armour. It calculates all your miles and calculates all the calories. You guys are in good shape. The sergeant or the sheriff, guys, don't get the shot. Just work out. Drink lots of water. Work out.
The COVID was running so rampant at the gym I was going to during that time. And my trainer was always calling me going like, you don't come in today, I have COVID.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I don't go to the gyms. I don't do an official quote unquote workout. But you know what? I don't.
Why don't you work out?
Why should I? What's in it for me?
Well, you look good. Heterosexually, you look good and strong. But why not build your endurance? Why not get stronger?
I have not had COVID. I have not had a cold. I have not had a flu.
Not COVID.
I have not
Your
had.
grandkids?
I have one. Yes.
Get in shape, dude. Build your strength. Do like a 50 push-ups and hang out with your grandchild and hey.
Tell you what I'll do. You do all of this stuff, right?
No, I don't because I don't have grandkids or kids.
I mean, you don't work out, or you don't.
I do work out.
Okay. So you consider yourself healthy and fit, and you're ready to go, right?
Well, I got to stop drinking and maybe start.
Okay. So I'm going to invite you to follow me for one day. I'll pick the day.
What do you mean follow you?
Follow me. Do what I do one day for an entire
Well,
day.
Rayford does do a lot of physical activity.
What is the physical activity that I'm talking about?
You're probably talking about working in those raised garden beds.
Absolutely
shoveling
not. Absolutely not. I want you to spend about 3 hours with me underwater because I
Oh,
dive.
geez.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not doing.
I will
that.
take you to 140 feet, and we'll go diving and have a grand old time.
Wait, what do you do underwater?
I take
Takes
photographs for
photos.
the most part.
They are amazing.
Hold on, let him talk. What do you do?
I shoot photos underwater.
He's a diver.
Dude, you know what? I'm absolutely obsessed with water since the earliest ages. I taught swimming. I love water. I'm obsessed with swimming. I'm not. Can we change the subject? So you take underwater photography?
I do. Since
So what is your
1966.
webpage? What is it?
I've been diving since 1965. I've been shooting photos underwater since 1966.
I absolutely want to see your page and see your photos. How do I find that?
No, I don't have a page with photos on it.
Dude, seriously?
If I
wanna
put
see it.
if I put a page up, and my photos are all copyrighted, but people steal pictures. I've already had that
Well,
happen.
who cares?
And
Who cares?
I do, because I sell photos
Okay, okay. Where can I look at your photos that you sell? Where can I look at them?
in my house.
Oh, come on. Are you serious? I'm actually fascinated by what you're doing. You're brushing me off.
No, I'm not brushing you off. It just, I just, my pictures are personal unless I'm selling them.
We've had some on our Facebook page.
We've
Yes.
had them on our
Yeah.
Facebook page, really low resolution stuff. You
Okay,
can go to our Facebook page and Google back down.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I'll tell you what, if you go to YouTube and because some of the one of the videos I think that I did, y'all put up
Yes.
on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, of an octopus, I think it
so
was.
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a very. Let me see. What's the deepest you've ever dove or dived and took a photo from?
147, as I recall.
Where was that?
That was in Bonaire, off the coast of Venezuela.
Bonaire.
Off the coast of Venezuela. It's one of the Dutch
Dude,
islands
that's
there,
amazing to me. How long ago was that?
I think. Yeah,
So you
2022.
specifically went there to dive and take pictures?
That's the only reason I go to Bonaire. There's nothing there to do. There's only one traffic light on
Dude,
the island. Very
There's the
little shopping.
donkeys.
They're donkeys, yeah. There's plenty of stuff to shoot pictures
by
of.
what you do.
Okay, well, but
I'm
I stay
fascinated.
fit for that reason. I cannot dive. I cannot put 35 pounds of tank on my back and 15 pounds of lead around my belly or my waist and walk out into the water. I have to walk from wherever I am down to the water to walk out into the water to go diving. So I stay fit and I eat like a hog when I'm down there because I need it.
Do you want to know what my second occupation in life is going to be in my next life?
What's that?
I want to be an underwater welder.
Oh, well, that's hard work.
Mhm.
I'm obsessed with that.
And well, that's
honestly-
cool. That's good, but the visibility when on those oil rigs and stuff like that, and it ain't the prettiest diving in the world. And you're generally wearing a hard hat type of operation.
Yeah, but I love water.
You're not.
I love
You're
water.
not. Yeah,
I love water.
yeah, I do too. That's the reason I use it. But I'm free. I don't depend upon an air source above. I'm on my own.
And can I ask you one last question?
Sure.
When did you develop a fascination with water?
1950s. I was doing what today they call snorkeling. I had a mask and I had a snorkel, and I was doing free diving all in the little water, the intercoastal waterway, the little creeks and stuff around here, and then it developed from there. And there was a TV show on starring a guy named Lloyd Bridges. It was called Sea Hunt.
I've heard of it.
And I watched it every week. And I wish they would replay it. I cannot find it on any of the channels that I have, and I have a million.
Oh, you know where I think I can tell you might be able to find it?
Where's that?
I may not be accurate. Have you ever heard of Pluto? Pluto.
I have. I've looked there too. I haven't found it there.
So you know what I would do? I would type in Pluto TV similar, and then type in what's it called? The Hunt. What's the show called?
SEA Hunt.
You're gonna find. You know what? I'm obsessed with finding this for you.
Find
I'm
it for
actually
me. Let me
I
know.
know the show.
All right,
All right.
Chuck.
Listen,
Thank you,
All
Charlie.
right, you guys have a good day
You
and
too.
Take care.
Bye bye. Okay,
He's an interesting
He's interesting.
individual. Yes.
but yeah, seriously, I'm not one of those. I know some of you are who love your organized sports, your
Right.
organized workout habits. I don't do that. I do not do well in a confined space, especially with a bunch of other sweaty people.
Well, Kelly and I both have those type of watches or fitness watches.
This
That
is a
measure-
Garmin. This
Yes,
one measures
Garmin is
every foot
good.
that I every
That's
step that I
right.
take. I get anything that I want. I can download. I can see it instantly, but I can download it at any time, of which
Right.
it downloads every week.
I mean, these watches are great. They
uploads
keep
down,
up with
whatever
your
it
heart
is. It goes into
rate,
the computer.
your respirations. They tell you need to get up and walk. It tells me
Yeah,
when it's time to
it
drink
tells-
my water. I mean, it keeps up.
Every now and then when I'm sitting around, it will say move. It's
Yes.
okay.
Mine does that every day. It's so
Yes.
annoying.
And what I usually say is yes, dear, with an expletive
Yeah.
included.
I don't
Can't get up.
know.
My,
I
my
went up-
clients might look at me weird if I get up out of my chair all of a sudden, but yeah.
I went up and
it'll
down
pop
enough
up.
steps
Yeah.
last night to take care of the week's worth.
I get
so,
I get irritated with myself because I talk to my watch.
yeah.
This is a watch. Don't. Oh, I screwed up last night.
What'd you do?
Oh,
I set another alarm on my clock on my telephone.
Oh, Rayford.
I did not know I'd included one that says it tells you the time. So it says 5:33, and I said, "What?"
Did you jump up and grab your
That's
gun?
what you
No,
get.
I was already up.
Right.
It was one of the backup alarms after yesterday.
Yes.
That's excellent.
So it's at 5:33.
There's
Get up.
nothing more annoying than to listen to Alexa start talking at 5:30 in the morning.
That's why I got rid of mine.
I had to turn her off.
Okay, I can do that right now. Alexa, give us a call, 910-333-0139. Alexa, call 910-333-0139. Let's see what happens.
I'm glad I have no radio on. In
I
the
think most
house.
of the people now have found out that I'm not going to put my Alexa near a radio.
No. But people here and there that their Alexas are going off right now.
Now, here's the other thing that happens. It's weird. I'm sitting there and I'm having a conversation.
With yourself?
No,
Okay.
I don't do that often.
Okay. Just every once in a while.
What are we talking about?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Anyway, and Robbie or I will mention the word Alexa,
Mhm.
and then ding, the
Yeah.
thing goes up.
Yeah.
May I help you, or whatever it
Yeah.
says.
Mhm.
Or the TV picks up on a word.
Oh yeah,
And
If you-
Alexa picks up on a
if
word
you-
on the
if-
TV.
If something comes on TV that says Alexa anywhere, our thing goes off,
Mhm.
and we've got one that spins towards the sound.
Mhm.
Don't do that to me. That's
Mm-mm.
just not nice. Stuff moving that I'm not controlling is dangerous.
Well, it's just like it could be very early in the morning and you're sitting there watching news, can't sleep, have the TV on, and all of a sudden Alexa starts talking.
By the way, for you just tuning in, don't have a clue who we are or what we are, welcome. We don't either. You're live and local, real talk. And we are awake. We're never woke.
I got a question for you
Seven.
because you're a photographer.
Okay. Picture taker.
This story popped up, and I think this is awesome and creepy at the same time. What's the fastest way a school photographer can lose their job? You know what story I'm about to tell?
I don't know the story, but I can tell you, you don't go using any of those kids as models,
Well,
and you don't sell any of the pictures to anybody,
no, but last week,
and you do not assist the kids with hands-on for anything.
oh no, this gets better.
It gets worse then.
Yeah. Chittum Elementary School in Chesapeake, Virginia, last week had to send an email out. They were taking school pictures, and the photographer who was a Life Touch photographer, that's the company that most schools use.
They're not photographers; they're picture takers.
Well, she was escorted off campus for making inappropriate comments to students. Now, you are going to love to know what these.
I don't like kids.
Oh no! So this one kid, she asked him, "Can I steal your identity?"
Say what?
To the kid. That's the first thing she asked him, and he's like, "Well, what?"
I don't have one.
And and he said no. So her next question was, "Well, can I eat your soul?" To the kid.
Oh, now we're crossing over into not
It's creepy.
creepy. We're talking sick.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And so this kid got really
There's
he
a
kept
better
saying
term.
no. And she says, "Well, then what can I eat?" So then this kid at this point is becoming hysterical, and because it creeped him, it scared him.
I would
And
have
she
had a
said,
blast.
"You can eat noodles." And he said, he just kept saying, he said, and he later told the principal, I said the first thing that popped, he's a kid, he's elementary school. He said, the first thing that popped in my head was noodles, because little kids like noodles. He said, you can have noodles. And this woman said to him, demons don't eat noodles. So then the kid lost it. They had to. So
Too bad I wasn't the kid because I was always the one
Mhm.
with the comeback line in a hurry because I could tell you what I'd have told her to eat.
they had to call the mom. The kid was hysterical. Then the other kids got upset because they're all in like a little line. They,
Yeah, I
they
know.
can hear.
And all wearing this.
They
little-
escorted her off the premises. Had to send a mass email out to all the parents. And the
I'd call it a drug
Life
squad. Have them
Touch.
do a test on her.
I would say almost evaluation, some kind of mental evaluation.
After you
And
do a
Life
drug
Touch
test.
commented to the local news TV station that they fired her.
We
Obviously, yeah. But I do think an evaluation. I mean, this poor, and now the mom said the kid's traumatized. I mean, he could probably going to be able to benefit from a little short-term therapy, but I guarantee you he's going to have an issue next year when it comes. They take pictures twice a year,
Why?
and I don't know. And let me tell you how they do it now. And my daughter gets so
Oh,
upset.
for heaven's sake.
You have to pay in advance before back when I was a kid, and even when my kids were young, you got your proof and then you could decide whether you wanted the picture or not based on how bad they looked. Because
Yeah,
school
that's what it
pictures
was.
normally
Yeah.
are not
Everybody
amazing.
gets a picture taken, number
yes,
one.
yes. Everybody gets a picture
That's what-
taken. Yeah, and then you get your little proof, and this looks great. Or because my mama bought some pictures of me as a kid, I was questioning. But anyway, nowadays you have to pay up front before you ever take the picture.
Look, I had to my daughter's high school,
Mhm.
my granddaughters. I ordered. You have to go online now
Yeah,
to order it.
yeah.
It was like $260 something to
Mm.
get a 16 by 16 collage.
Yeah.
And then, have you ever tried to find a frame for a 16 by
Yes,
16? There
yes.
is no such
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
You
It has
have to
be
have
custom.
that special made.
Mhm.
But fortunately, I had an old picture that it fit almost perfectly. I just had to trim around the edges, which doesn't show anyway. But
You did it
Oh, yeah.
wrong. You did it all wrong. Get one bigger, get an oversized frame, have a mat cut to fit it, and then put it all together.
well, they still have to have that specially done.
But
It's ridiculous.
when some of these photographers, and you're right, Rayford, they're not
They're not
quote
photographers.
photographers because some of the photos that they send home to these parents, and
Oh.
I'm going to use my grandson as an example because he has come home with some doozy.
Remember that?
Remember
one
that
year?
I showed you this
Yes.
picture of him. My brother uses this photo. He does online gaming as his gaming profile. It is so bad. My daughter was so upset. It is bad. Rayford, it's bad. I'll have to show you one. It's awful. And my daughter was like, Mom, how can you can't tell me that photographer didn't see that? Because they look, they take the picture, then they look at it. How did they remotely think that was okay? They ended up retaking it in the spring, Rayford, and they charged my daughter for that stupid photo. It's awful. It is so bad.
Well, the way they used to do it,
Hmm.
the way everybody was trained the same.
Yeah.
And these are the same, when they weren't shooting school pictures, the
Mhm.
same companies were sending folks around to these Belk stores or wherever.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
Some Belk stores had their own photographer
Mhm.
in-house.
J.C. Penney
They,
did.
they were
yeah.
all set up
Mhm.
with a camera
Mhm.
and a 100-foot magazine roll, 100 feet of 35 millimeter film
Mhm.
on a magazine. And they would just click and they would click and they would click and they were not looking through the viewfinder.
Right.
They were looking and they were trying to get you. And then they would click and they
Mhm.
had certain poses. Okay, now they had a set of poses.
Yeah.
Everybody did the same one.
Yes.
Ones, multiple ones. That's it.
Right.
And then they would send those to you. One of the issues that school companies got, first of all, the schools generally get half of whatever that price is.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
right up front, the school is a fundraiser for the school. So they get a half up front of whatever it is. The photo companies, one of the reasons I never wanted to do it, the photo companies then have to print all of these pictures and the proofs to send home. Okay. They only make money if you buy it. Unfortunately, some drugstores with no names and some other companies, you send the proof home, and those proofs, though they're small,
Mhm.
they would copy them. They would actually do a copy of those, just take another picture of them. They have copy stands set up. They'll do the picture, knowing it's a school picture, knowing that it's copyright, but they will do it anyway. And then they will sell you those prints for 35 cents a piece,
Wow.
not $28.
Oh, it's
That's the
it's
way.
pricey.
That's the way. And then it came down to
Mhm.
being these places got shut down. The ones that were because every photograph that a photographer takes is copyrighted.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the copyright symbol on it.
Right.
I got a lot of money for one photograph that I took, and I used it on a poster. Well, some clown recreated that artistically. All he did was change the hair color, and he did the same caption thing that I was using,
Mm-hmm.
and he made T-shirts out of it.
Yeah.
Well, I found one of the T-shirts. It cost him $10,000. That was the most expensive T-shirt he had.
Lord.
I made $10,000 off that picture.
Wow.
Nice.
Idiot.
Mm-hmm.
But I made
Wow.
about probably $40,000 off the poster. But
Mm-hmm.
Well, is that the same now that people post pictures on social media all the time?
well, if you're posting your pictures on social media,
And somebody takes one of those?
if they take one of those, if you've put it out there in the public, if you've allowed it to be put in the public's eye, you're not supposed to do anything with it, but people are doing it.
Yes.
They'll take it and use it. Now, if they use it commercially, and you can prove that it's yours and that it was an original work of
Mhm.
art, it's not worth the trouble because there's so many of them
Right.
out there.
Okay.
What for you folks out there who want to go online and try to steal my pictures, embedded in the good pictures, I enlarge mine very large.
Mm-hmm.
And on 4 pixels, somewhere on that image, I put copyright and my name and the date.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You can't see it in print. I know where it is.
Yeah.
And it's on there. It's on the image.
That's awesome.
So y'all go ahead, make my day. I could use the money. Yes. Yeah. What else? You have more questions?
No, nothing about that.
Creepy.
I mean, that's
creepy.
creepy.
Creepy picture taker. Don't classify
Yeah,
her as
don't
a
go.
photographer.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Fox News did, but no, I agree.
Yeah,
and I
it's-
checked
it's
other
not a
websites, and they all had the similar. That poor kid is like afraid, he'll never get his
Now,
picture taken ever again.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking about what kind of evaluations, not evaluations, but considerations for these kids,
Mhm.
psychological treatments.
They'd be like,
He could go to short-term counseling just to
Yeah.
kind of get over.
But how
Have it
about the
work him
school's
through.
responsibility for this?
Well, I think a little better vetting of the photographers.
Well,
I mean,
how
and
do
that's
they-
hard when
they
you're
can't because
contracting
they're
with the
higher
XYZ company. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
My parents always did Olin Mills for us as kids.
oh,
I
my
know.
gosh.
And
My
every
mother
pose was identical.
And you had several backgrounds, and my mother always made us wear the same color or
I did
and then
one-
get the oil canvas
Yeah, you
picture,
can
and
do
then the
whatever you
other
want.
ones. Oh yeah.
I did one, what it was not for masked like that, but it sort of
Mhm.
was. There was a company called Mary Kay Products.
I know.
Oh,
Mary Kay. My
Mary
mother was.
Kay.
Mary Kay
Yes.
and their
Do they
makeup
still
and all
drive
that
the
sort of
pink
good
car?
stuff.
Yeah.
And Mary Kay, two of the ladies in Wilmington, they wanted to know if I would do before and after pictures of their makeup.
Mhm.
I said, sure.
Mm.
What are you going to do with the pictures?
Not
Mhm.
me.
I said, you can't use them for anything without a release from both me and the person you've got. She
Mhm.
said, well, okay, how do we work this out? So we came to monetary arrangement,
Mhm.
shall we say.
Okay.
My time is my time, and it's
Yeah.
going to cost you.
Yeah.
So we did that. And the funniest thing was I did before and after. Before they walk in, no makeup on,
Correct.
no nothing, honey.
Yeah.
And they sit down, I do a couple of photos, and I it's just generic, very generic, probably shot a half dozen, I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd go through and I'd put the best looking one of that group. And so I had this one on available. And then I would do whatever makeup, whatever staging they wanted to do, glamour photos is what they used to call them.
Mm-hmm.
And they use anything from feather boas, which I had a whole room full of them, to,
Mhm.
various wraps, all sorts of cool stuff, right?
Mhm.
And they do the makeup. And the funniest one was I had them on display out front at the studio.
Uh-huh.
So, of course, when the ladies who had volunteered for this had come in, they could buy the pictures.
Okay.
I'd already been paid for it, but they could buy individual pictures of whatever. So I had on display several of the good ones, the really better ones,
Mhm.
and I had before and after right beside it, which is advertising for Mary Kay too, and I did that. One lady came in, she says, I wore that exact same outfit right there. She didn't see the before picture. It wasn't displayed with that. That's the same outfit that I was wearing. I said, ma'am, that is you. And she looked at it 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't believe it was her. She had not seen except in the mirror,
Mhm.
what she actually looked like in the after picture,
Mhm.
the day of the shoot. She was impressed with the
Mhm.
makeup and everything else. It was good. They did a good job.
Yeah.
Did not know who she was.
Well, she would have paid about $400 for it too, but I'm just saying. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I'm not
whatever.
talking about I'm talking about the makeup.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. My mother wore Mary Kay religiously. Oh God. Yeah. Let's go to Chicago.
Not me.
Yeah, I
They
know.
won't let me carry my guns.
Yep.
I won't
So
go
I
with
have
one.
been, I don't know, maybe I'm becoming obsessed with this and I probably need to find something else to do in my limited spare time. But I have been on what I call the gang watch because they've started talking about, the Venezuelan gang moving into
Yeah.
Chicago.
and
it's-
fighting the other
it's
gangs.
the trendy Aragua gang, and the black gangs are not happy about the Venezuelans coming in, and so now they're the local law enforcement as well as like community groups that try to kind of stem the gang violence, and most of them are made up of former gang members that
There's one guy that spent
Yeah,
20 years in
He's
prison.
20 years. Yeah. His name is Tyrone Muhammad. Yeah. And he is worried. They all are because they said it's coming. It's going to be very soon. Because apparently, and I'll say when I was in Chicago back in July, I saw a lot of stuff on the streets. Some things I have no desire to go back. Just don't. But there's a lot going on there. I'll say that. A lot of creepy stuff. But they were talking about, so the gang members have already started planning. I don't know if that's what term you would use, preparing. And one of the local gang members to say, look, one of the things we're mad about, they're going to be robbing people, but they won't get arrested. He said they talked to one of the Venezuelan gang members, and he was bragging about how these Biden programs
Yep.
allowing them, they got an apartment, they got a debit card, they got a social security number, they get food stamps. And he said, and then they're giving them $400 a month money. He says, our own citizens don't get that. That's what a gang
Nope.
member said. He says, we're not getting it.
Why should
So, and some of the Chicago gangs met like off camera, whatever, with some New York Post reporters who
Right.
were doing a story. And they were saying a lot of these gang members are heavily armed, and it's and they're walking around showing, they call it showing a flag, but it's showing your weapon, which
Right.
sign of whatever.
Pull a shirt tail
Yeah.
up and show your gun.
And he said the problem is with this one gang member said, look, the black gangs are divided because they all fighting each other.
Mhm.
He said the Venezuelan gangs, they're all united. He said, so we've either got to come together to fight them as one big collective group, or you're going to have a lot of skirmishes and the Venezuelans are going to take over. And he said the Venezuelans are full of violence. He said they don't have a care.
So are the local gangs.
Yeah.
The black gangs in Chicago
Yeah.
are full of violence, and they don't care who they kill.
I agree. I saw that while I was
First
there.
of all,
Mhm.
they target individuals.
Yeah.
But they ain't good shots.
No.
They spray and they pray.
Yep.
They just will spray into a crowd that go by with their
Mhm.
semi-automatic handguns. For the most part, that's what they're carrying are 9mm handguns.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hard to hide an AK or AR
Yeah.
and get away in a hurry. But they will drive by. They will get out. They'll
Mhm.
run up. They'll start shooting. Maybe one rival gang member in a group of people, and kids get killed. Innocents get killed.
Oh, absolutely.
People who are in the
Yeah.
neighborhood get killed.
Yep.
They don't care.
Nope. And neither
They do not
so now
care.
you got two groups
They
that
don't
don't
care.
care. You got
So
Yeah.
don't make
Let
heroes out of.
I'm not
black
making
gangs
heroes
in
do. I say
Chicago.
let them all fight it out and be done with it, and they might rid the whole gang problem in the city.
If they could put a big stadium,
Big arena and let them Thunderdome it out in
let's
there.
do the
yeah.
Greek thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Like the Roman Coliseum times or
Absolutely.
whatever.
That's
Yeah.
it for the Coliseum.
Yeah.
All of y'all are in there. Last
Yeah.
man standing wins.
That's like Thunderdome, and whoever comes out is
Take all the
I
bullets you
agree.
got. Y'all get in there. If you come outside of this, we're going to shoot you dead.
yeah.
So you
Just
will have
stay in there.
you will force to
Fight
stay
it
there.
out. Yeah. Can't argue it. Be a safer city.
Yeah.
Because there was I saw some crazy nonsense going on there, and wasn't even in the thick of it.
That's the way I feel. I don't have any desires
No.
for it. I've got no love lost for the gang members.
Oh, I
None.
agree, 100%.
Those
Yeah.
that get out say they're reformed. Well, what kind of damage did you do while you were in? You should still be in.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very scary. And I think what's scary is that these South American gangs are just way more, I don't know, organized than our gangs, which I don't know how I feel about that. And they're bringing in drugs, and not that they're not already here.
Well, they're here
Added
and they're
to it,
bringing
yeah.
in more. And think about it. They did not come into this country with those guns. You know that, right?
Correct.
They had to get them when they were here. In
They
other
got
words,
'em.
they're finding
They're
them while they're
organized.
here. And,
Well, they've got scouts or
well, they got thieves
Yeah,
who
yeah.
are selling the guns to them. They steal
Absolutely.
them from people who are good, honest people who
Yep.
are buying the guns themselves,
Yep.
and then they break in and steal.
I agree.
We know it's happening.
Yep.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. How are you three?
We're good.
We're the gruesome threesome
Hey,
today.
Chris.
No, you're not. No, not gruesome. I say terrific trio. How's
Oh,
that?
okay.
I
I'll
like
take that.
that.
That's better.
The latest are the friend from the Midwest that calls in the morning.
Mhm.
Charlie?
Charlie,
from
yes.
Indiana.
Yeah, yep.
Charlie from Indiana. I hope he's still listening. Charlie, if we ever on this show get this debate that we've talked about doing for political reasons, I'd like to just have a conversation with you. And we call it the comedy hour or something.
It would be fun.
It would be a lot of fun. I would love to talk to him,
Mhm.
some of his thoughts. Well, yeah, anyway. So I'm going to thank you for that Snoops report about Trump and bleach. What he said was disinfecting with bleach, Mike. Disinfecting.
I put
He
that
didn't
on
tell you
our
to drink
page.
it. Yeah, I saw that. Thank you, Lee. Here's what people need to do. Stop saying things that aren't true. Stop, and I know that's very hard. Let's face it, the media can't even do it. And just stick to facts. Can we just stick to facts?
It would be nice.
Okay, so Kamala is going to the Arizona border line, whatever
Finally.
you want to call it, entry, Friday.
Yes.
Does anybody remember when she was asked how come she hasn't been there yet by Lester Holt of NBC? And she said, I've never been to Europe. I don't understand what your point is. Okay. The point is that was your job and you didn't do it
Yeah.
because you said, I think what we need to do is find the root of the problem and go to the other countries and ask them why they're coming over here. So, okay.
What?
What's the problem?
Because.
Okay, so what's the problem? Them going over there and saying, why are you leaving your country? Or them coming into this country? Which one is the problem?
Personally, I don't give a rat's rear end why they're leaving their country. That's between you and your country. I care that you're trying to invade my country. You go fight it out in your country and you deal with it in your country, or go somewhere where somebody cares. I don't. And as according to the polls, the majority of the people in this country, they don't care anything about you. Nothing. We're not humanitarians. We are up until a certain point, but you've taken advantage of that opportunity too many times.
I think we've all have read facts.
Yeah.
Just basically facts where military, homeless veterans who are now sleeping under bridges and stuff, these former bases, they are now holding places for the illegal immigrants.
Yep. So now what do you do with it? What do you do with the homeless
Yeah.
veterans now?
They're now homeless under bridges.
Yep.
In the woods. We have them here in
We do. We have
we all know
We
that.
have a colony.
Yeah, and it's very. Oh, the economy? No, the economy's better.
I said we have a colony of the homeless
colony.
here.
I'm sorry.
They're in the
Colony.
woods.
But yeah, but since I went into the economy, let's talk real quick if you have a second. Let's
I
talk
do.
about that. Okay, so
allegedly the economy is better, and everyone's saying, okay, well, it wasn't that great under Trump. Here's why. Okay, well, yes, he had a great stock market was going well. It's not now. They're blaming that on they're blaming on the stock market right now on Trump because of the way he ran his administration. The prices were better under Trump, and that was his fault. And the jobs. So COVID, does everybody remember when COVID, people stopped going to work?
Yep.
They stayed at home, then they stopped quit working, and then
I
they were
do.
given money by the Biden administration. I can't remember how much we all got, $2,400 total dollars free.
Mm.
Yeah. Then people stayed at home. Then they decided after they couldn't get any more unemployment, they're going to go to work. We've created all these jobs. No, you didn't create jobs. Jobs disappeared because of COVID.
Mhm.
Then they're backfilled by these people now working,
Mhm.
filling those jobs that COVID caused. I don't understand why people are believing everything she says, including the fact that she came from a middle-class family. The facts, if anybody wants to do them, I'll be happy to give them the year, the amount of money her mother made when she was raising her by herself. If you're making $150,000 in 1975 in San Francisco, the average median was $23,000 for a family,
Mhm.
middle-class family.
Okay, we had one of our callers yesterday, after you, or was it yesterday or the day before, I forgot which now. He was challenging that. He said he could not find the figures to support the fact that they were making that much money in 1972, 73, 4, whatever it was. That the average national salary, which I had to challenge him on about that, national salary was somewhat less than that for an associate professor. Well, I said, as I pointed out, we're not talking about an average, national average. We're talking about Stanford, period. One place, one location. So
That's it.
that's
And that was,
the challenge that I gave him.
and you're right. And that's been my point. Okay, you don't try to compare, Kansas or Coastal Carolina Community College, wherever you want to go. Pick a 4-year college.
Mm-hmm.
You can't compare Harvard with University of Southern Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it. You just can't do it. So, whichever one of the soon-to-be opponents of mine that want to discuss that, I'd be happy to show them where the proof is.
I think it was Mike, wasn't it?
Yeah. Chris, when you get a chance,
Yeah.
Mike posted in the comment section a YouTube video that allegedly is where Trump used those direct words about injecting yourself with bleach. Would you take a look at it? I can't look at it right now because, of course, we're on air. But
Yeah.
I had put the fact check on our comment section and where he didn't tell people to inject bleach, but here's what he did say. So I put it, and then Mike put something, a YouTube on there. So take a look at that because he said these were Trump's direct words. Now, I don't know the YouTube
Okay.
video. I don't know
I
who
haven't
put
seen
it
that,
together.
so-
I don't know. So I'll let you do that,
Well-
Chris.
Sure, I'll be happy to. But what he was talking about was the effectiveness of different methods. He was talking about, if some remember, the infrared or the alpha
Right.
lights. He was talking about that. What he was talking about is disinfectant being used on countertops and items like that. But I'll be happy to check on that. But Mike, I hear you, Mike. Make it real simple. You're wrong. Okay.
He said Trump did ask members of the government's virus task force to look into whether disinfectants could be injected inside people to treat COVID-19. But when a reporter asked in a follow-up question whether cleaning products like bleach and alcohol would be injected into the person, the then president said those products would be used for sterilizing the area, not for injections.
Well,
So-
I was
Right.
told after I had COVID, which mine was early onset.
Right.
I mean, way early onset, before shots were available or anything else. A frequent caller of ours, which is not so frequent these days, but he was back then, and still a good friend, and a guy that I hired.
Right.
Okay, many years ago. His name is Doug Wall.
Yes.
Down in Wilmington, he called me. He says, "You know what you
Mhm.
need to do?" He said, "I got a theory." He said, "You need to change your mouthwash and use old man's mouthwash, Listerine."
I remember
I've
you
been
saying
using
that.
it since then,
Really?
along with the needles, and I have not had COVID. 1 and 1 in my book equals 2. I will continue doing something unless it hurts me.
And that's your right to believe that. And
Absolutely.
if it
Why not?
works for you, go for
right here.
it.
I'm going to do something, so why not use Listerine? If that's
I just
if that's a
find
theory,
it.
I'll try it.
I mean, I know there's two opinions to COVID, and I respect both sides.
I
But
do
what
too.
gets me is when I have somebody come after me for my choice and telling me I'm going to die, I'm going to drop
Yeah.
dead, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. The only effect I had from taking the shots was I grew a lot of hair on my chest, and I had to start shaving. I'm just kidding.
You're so full of crap.
I know you.
You are
No,
so full of
I
it.
mean, people were asking me about my DNA changing. I mean, it was crazy. The
Lord
ones
mercy.
that don't believe in the vaccines and some of the stuff. I had one lady tell me, I mean, she got angry with me,
Why does she care?
told me more or less I was going to drop dead and it was
Thank
my
you.
fault. And I'm like, okay.
But why does she care?
She's
And
very
there's
opinionated.
There's the perfect. You both ladies both bring up good points. Lee, on yours, there's nothing wrong with taking COVID shot. I take it. You don't want to take it? That's your right.
Yes, I don't
Kelly,
care.
you're right on it. Kelly, you're right on it. Why does she care?
Get
It's
out
your-
of my
it's your
business.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that don't believe in the flu shot until back in 2013 when my dad and my mother started having health issues. I had never had a flu shot in my life,
Mhm.
nor had I ever had the flu. I'm one of those lucky ones. But I started taking the flu shots because I was taking care of them. And I didn't want to pick it up and get sick and take it to them because it probably would have killed them at their age and their health issues.
Well, I'll tell you what.
and I
had
started
to-
taking, I've had no effects from it.
It was in the 1970s, maybe early 80s. I got a case of the flu.
Right.
I never had the flu. Didn't know what it was until I got to the doctor. My dad had to take me. I was in that bad of shape.
Right.
There was green stuff that was coming out, you know?
Yeah,
It
some
was
people
not good. And for a solid week, I could not do anything. Couldn't eat. I must have lost 100 pounds.
I
Felt
think-
like it anyway.
Kelly, you
But
had it once.
anyway,
2018.
when I had it, the one and only time, and
Mm-hmm.
sometime after that, I heard about this thing called a flu shot. And I said, I got one.
Mhm.
And I've had one ever since. If they would give me 2, I would take 2 ever since, every year.
Well, I just had
Yep.
mine last week, so
Well, I went for the triple header one day,
Yeah.
and and then the next day, I was sore. My arm was sore. Both arms were sore because I got COVID, flu, and pneumonia. My choice. I did it. Whatever. But here's the thing. Let me go back. You asked for the fact check from the Austin American Statesman, fact checking on Trump and the drinking Clorox or whatever. Biden said that Trump said drinking bleach could help fight coronas. It says Trump did not specifically recommend ingesting disinfectants, but he did explore the interest in whether disinfectants could be applied to the site of a coronavirus infection inside the body, such as lungs. But he did not say drink it. He did not say take it. He speculated. He was just asking a question. He asked a question. And now people are saying he told people to ingest it. And what did Mike say? They're taking horse shots, or some kind of horse medicine shots. Look, it's just dumb. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't like using the word. That's just a dumb statement to make.
It is.
It's not a
I
fact.
understand.
I'll continue to check on doing the fact checks. But it's just, I'm glad people are starting to see that Harris, she's, don't get me wrong, she's very likable.
To whom?
Well, she's likable to a lot of people, according to a survey. Again, now I'm going with a survey from NBC. This guy goes, 48% of people would vote for Harris because she's likable. Okay, now flip the next page on charts, and he goes, however, Americans, when it comes to the economy and immigration, think Trump is going to be better at it. So are you going to vote for someone because they're likable, or because they're going to do something for our country? And if they say one more time she's going to help all Americans,
Chris.
okay, I'm not going to have any children anytime soon. So I'm not going to get and I'm not going to buy a new home. So I'm not going to get this $50,000 credit, this $6,000 credit. I'm the middle class. What is she going to do for me?
Nothing.
And I tell you, I've got more facts. I don't want to hog up the show, so kick me off anytime you need to take another caller.
Yeah, well, we got to get to the weather too.
Well, I just
that
want
video.
Chris, I wanted you create a monster by giving my grandson that Crime Stoppers phone number. I just want you to know. That
It
kid,
was wonderful.
oh, he has the number memorized, which I told you, you only have to tell him a number one time, he remembers it. That child in the car has been pointing out every red light runner he has seen.
Oh,
My son-in-law
Is
is
he,
like,
is he calling him, Kate?
he's the only reason he doesn't care. He got a little cell phone. He don't care nothing about it, so he don't carry it with him. And I think that's the only reason why. My son-in-law wanted to know who gave Kylan that phone number, because I'm telling you, he will be calling Crime Stopper and giving them license plate numbers. This kid is intense. So, Chris, I want to thank you and say you have created a monster with this.
Good job, Chris. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Hey, look, it was a great.
We
It
got
was a great
Kylan on
time
duty
with-
now.
It was a great time at Able Bodies last Friday night. I look forward to doing some more with them. But he is such a
he's a
wonderful
hoot.
young man.
He's a hoot.
I got to have a chat with him then.
Oh, he is a hoot and a half.
I'm going to tell
Yeah.
him.
That's it.
Here's my instructions to him.
Don't you do this, Rayford. Yeah.
My instructions will be very simple. Every time you go into anybody's house when you're visiting, say, Alexa, call 910-3.
He will do it, Rayford. He will do it. He will
Can you
do it.
imagine?
Yeah, he'll do it.
He's bright.
I know he is.
Yeah,
He will remember it.
he is something
But
else.
that whole group of people, they were just so wonderful to talk with
Oh, there.
and point out. It was beautiful. But I'm gonna let you all do the weather.
Thanks for coming out, Chris. It was a good time. They were very happy that you came out. It's an amazing
It
group.
Good
was
job,
a-
Chris. Good
Yeah.
job.
Was a
Thank
pleasure. Made a lot of nice friends.
Thank
And,
you.
Let me know about that video.
I will.
Whose
I will
video
do
it
that.
is?
I'll take a look at it
Okay.
and let you know.
Thanks,
Till then,
sir.
y'all have a
You
Later.
too.
See you.
thanks. See you.
Chris Marks, one of our really good friends on here.
Yes.
Midweek Marine Forecast brought to you by Community Prevention Services. If you get mad at the drop of a hat, you just don't know what's going on. You just suddenly you're started getting mad just for no reason, for some little issue
Right.
that means nothing in the long run. Oftentimes the onset of pent-up anger, all of us can get it, but if it's happening more and more and more, and you just don't understand what's going on with you, these things can cause stress, anxiety, or depression. Broken arm, we all know that will heal.
Yep.
You all know if you get a broken arm, it's going to heal and you'll be fine to go. Good to go after that, no problem. But uncontrolled reaction to seemingly harmless irritants, especially when it's out of character for you, may be a sign for you to seek a little help. The counselors at Community Prevention Services, they're all willing to help you work on whatever is triggering your abnormal reactions. Giving them a call to set up an appointment might prove to be the best move you've taken in a long time. 910-353-0972. Now, counselors, they're there now. They're standing by. They'll gladly schedule an appointment to begin the process of working on issues that are bugging you. They also accept most insurance plans out there. So what else do you need to know? 910-353-0972. Offshore weather out to 20 nautical miles. High pressure will remain anchored to the north through today as a warm front approaches eastern North Carolina from the west, and it stalls out here. So we will get warm weather. Tropical Storm Helene will pass through the southeastern U.S. at the end of this week. And it's going to bring a period of heavy rain and gusty winds to the area, probably Friday and Saturday. We'll hear more about that in a second. Today is actually looking pretty good offshore. You might want to take advantage of this opportunity. But if you go out there, keep your eye on the weather. We know, if you're a boater, we know how weather can change and conditions can worsen. Southeasterly winds 5 to 10 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. Sounds and rivers of light chop. Tomorrow, southeasterly winds kick it up just a little bit, 10 to 15, seas 3 to 5. Sounds and rivers of moderate chop. Conditions will begin to deteriorate, and you might want to keep an eye on changing weather patterns on Thursday afternoon. Friday, not looking so good, as likely hurricane will be passing well to our west, but it will create some windy conditions even along the coast. Southeasterly winds 20 to 25 knots, becoming southerly 15 to 20 in the afternoon. Gusts up to 30 knots, seas 6 to 9 feet near shore, only 5 to 7. Building to 7 to 8 in the afternoon. Sounds and rivers rough, diminishing to choppy in the afternoon.
Today, partly sunny, a high of 83, with calm winds that will be from the southeast 5 to 8 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 71. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 84. And then late afternoon, going into the evening, the rain will start potentially mostly cloudy with a low of 74. But then on Friday, it's just going to be rough and yucky. High of 84, southeast winds 13 to 15 mile an hour with gusts as high as 25 miles an hour. It'll be showers and thunderstorms. Then Friday night, partly cloudy, low of 70. According to this, the rain may kind of start diminishing overnight, but we will see. A lot of it will depend on how fast that thing moves. Then on Saturday, as of now, this is highly subject to change. Mostly sunny, high of 86.
Yeah, it's zipping along. That's
Yeah.
one of the good things.
Yeah.
And the faster it goes, the less rain it will drop.
Mhm.
There's a rule
Agree
about
with
that
that, yeah.
somewhere. So that
But
will be
this-
the good thing, because there's not a lot of areas, this part of the country, that need any more water.
Yeah, but Lee just pulled up something earlier that showed it could potentially hit go up to 150 mile an hour winds.
Gust, yes.
Gusts, yeah.
Gusts are, yeah,
There's a
Yeah.
potential.
sustained
for it,
winds are
right?
not going to be
All
that
right, who
high.
we got?
Right.
We got somebody on the line. Who's this?
Hey, it's Franny.
Well, hey, Laura.
Hey, Laura. What's going on,
Hi,
friend?
guys.
What's up?
Well, I wanted to call in because let the listeners know. So this Friday evening, the Onslow County Republican Men's Club is hosting their second annual Great Gatsby Gala
Fun.
at the Rustic Farm in Jacksonville. And Senator Michael Lozara has donated a table, and the seats, 8 seats, are being offered to veterans or active duty or first responders, totally free of charge.
Oh, good.
So,
Nice.
yeah,
It's a
for
fun
everyone that would
time.
like to attend, what they need to do is reach out to Al Carpenter, who's the president of the Men's Club. His phone number, I'm giving it with permission, is 910-234-8440. And this is a great night. Last year was their first one, and it was so much fun.
All right, let's do that number one more time.
910-234-8440.
Okay, gotcha. Very good. We do appreciate that.
What's that?
We do appreciate that.
Yeah, it's dinner, it's dancing, it's a really, really fun night. So
It
they've
is.
got 8 seats available.
Well, I've got you on the line here, and for the ladies here too, one of the things that I'm looking at, Mark Robinson, he may have found something that's not quite true in the reports from the CNN that has painted him in a pretty bad light, which pretty much has undermined his efforts to become the next governor here in the great state of North Carolina. The word coming
Right.
down is that Lieutenant Governor Robinson's campaign has hired a Virginia law firm, the same law firm that assisted Donald Trump, to lead their investigation into last week's CNN report. The news network reported last Thursday that Robinson wrote numerous lewd and racist posts on a pornographic website about 10, 12 years ago. Robinson, the nominee for the governor, has denied the allegations, but he has not come out and strongly denied anything. He just, no, didn't happen. But the law firm is looking into it to find out what these allegations are and are they true, number one? Where do they come from?
Right.
You can rest assured. I will tell you right now, CNN does not originate much of anything. They get information
Yeah.
from somebody and then they act on it. Now, they may have investigated it. They may have been given this information, but CNN nor any other major network is going to go out and look at North Carolina's lieutenant governor who wants to be governor and come up with something, because there are 50 states to do that with. They don't.
Right.
So they were pointed in his direction for some reason or another. So
Mhm.
you would assume that if there is that much smoke, there is some fire there, but we're going to have to wait and see on that one now. What do you think about this?
What I think is, I'm not a person who immediately believes rumors. I've been the victim of rumors that were definitely not true, and it's unfair. And I don't jump and listen to rumors. I wait for all of the facts. So all of the facts aren't out. I think there does need to be an investigation, and we are standing by our candidate.
Okay, well, it's pretty close. I mean, it's not a whole lot of time now, and that was by design. I mean, if I'm going to attack you, I'm going to be a sneak attack. I'm not going to give you an advance notice that I'm coming. So that's what they did, and the timing is perfect for them.
It was definitely well executed.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Yeah.
It was well
It's just
executed.
So why didn't the Republicans do the same thing?
It's a great question.
Y'all need to get off the pot. You need to learn to be as sneaky as the Democrats are. They're doing good. You guys are missing.
Which is not like that.
You're missing
You
the
know,
boat.
by nature, Republicans aren't sneaky.
Well, they should be. All's fair in love and politics, right?
Yeah,
Oh, they are.
yeah. Well, my advice would be wait till we have the facts.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what I generally do. But some of these facts look pretty bad. The information that was presented, and it's going to be hard to dispute what was said. What I want to know what the context was of what was written and what was said. I don't do snippets. I don't believe in snippets.
Meaning, and let me tell you this: if we were living in the year 1636, if people listened to rumors, I would have been burned at the stake 4 years ago. So, we need to get to the bottom of it and get the truth.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm glad you weren't burned because,
How's your foot, Laura? You broke it yesterday.
What?
The other
I
day,
broke my foot.
She
Do you
did.
know what I was doing?
You kicked
You know what I was
somebody.
doing?
She was flocking a yard.
She was what?
Flocking.
Yep, the Andre
Flocking.
County GOP does flamingo flocks as a fundraiser.
You know, Candy does that.
I know what that is. I was just
Well, how
making
did you break your
explain.
foot doing it? Did you fall in a hole? Did
No,
you-
one of those birds
That's
attacked her.
precisely what it- Do you know who we were flocking? We played up to flock John Davis.
And you got flocked instead.
Well, he come out and beat you down for flocking his yard?
Alan kept saying to me, watch the ditch. So I was watching the ditch. Because it's dark.
Watch
And
the
there was
what?
like a rut.
Ditch.
The ditch.
Oh,
The ditch. Yeah. So you didn't watch the ditch
When
clearly.
you sneak out in the dark of night.
Yeah. I didn't fall in the ditch. There was like a rut in the grass. And I got caught in the rut. Took my foot.
Were you wearing high
Can't you-
heels?
Wait a minute. Can't you sue the
No.
homeowner?
I could see you doing. I can visualize this in my
Absolutely
head.
not.
Yeah.
No, I
Can't you
did not.
sue the homeowner?
why were
Oh,
you?
wait, that was
well,
John Davis.
My question: Why?
Just
why were
kidding.
you leaning left? Nobody leans left, do they? See, that was your first mistake, Laura. Come on.
Yeah,
She
so
broke her
anyway, so
foot.
I will be at the gala in a wheelchair.
She broke her foot at the mayor's yard, in the mayor's yard.
Oh my goodness! Knowing John,
That'll
it's a
make
good
for a
thing.
great story,
It's a
though.
good thing he
Yes.
didn't
Yeah.
shoot you, Laura.
Let's start a story.
Good thing he doesn't like horses.
We're going to start a rumor.
Yesterday, Alan went out and got me a pumpkin pie blizzard from Dairy Queen.
Oh,
Oh.
And it was amazing. It was so good.
I hope it wasn't from the one in Swansboro.
It was.
Oh my! You fall in his yard, break your foot, and then you go to his Dairy Queen to get a blizzard.
That's right.
Good. Well,
You might
Well,
want
it's not
to.
his fault.
You might want to
It's not
think
his
about
fault I'm
this.
clumsy.
You could probably end up owning this Dairy Queen.
Yeah. Well, would you like to work in a dairy?
John's going to start texting me in a minute.
You better stop. It's not John's fault.
I know. I'm just picking. Just picking. He's probably, he's going to call me later like, would you stop?
Yeah. Laura, thank you.
The blizzards are off the chain at Dairy Queen. Go get you one.
There you go. Go get some rest. Put your foot up.
Thanks.
All right. You take care.
All right, guys.
Wow. You
Bye.
take care, Laura.
I got some good news, and this is legitimate good news
All right.
for the schools and the students here in North Carolina, but 2 counties in particular. Do you know what AP classes are?
Yes.
Well, you talked about it earlier.
Yeah,
Please
that started.
explain it.
I was reading the stories on several different stations about the AP classes, and nowhere did they explain what AP classes are. So for the unknowing, I had to go look. I read with interest these stories. Onslow and Pamlico counties, more students are taking the AP classes these days, many more.
AP.
And that's cause for celebration. So besides those words, what are we talking about? The College Board explains advanced placement, aka AP, courses
Yes.
are rigorous college-level classes in a variety of subjects that give students the opportunity to earn college credit while in high school by scoring a 3 or higher on a 5-point scale on the AP exam associated with that course. I understand that because I had one of those students, relative. Advanced placement is a program in the United States and Canada created by the College Board, which offers college-level curricula and examinations to high school students. American colleges and universities may grant placement and course credit to students who obtain high scores on these examinations. In North Carolina, 38 AP courses are offered in public high schools. Fees for the exams are funded for all North Carolina public high school students through the North Carolina AP partnership if they want to do it. In Onslow, Michael Elder with Onslow County College and Career Readiness said 94 more kids were tested last year than the previous, and that year was more than the year before.
Wow.
More exams were taken, and there was an 11% increase in qualifying scores. That, folks, is what we call good news
Yeah,
in the educational world.
my granddaughter did that in high school. She
Uh-huh.
was also going to the community college at the same time.
Yep, that's what
She
Allison
and
did.
she's in college now. She knocked 2 years off her college.
You can do it.
I think it's
Across all of North
Great.
Carolina, 84,000 students have participated in this
yes,
program.
I think it's fantastic.
I like it. Okay, we got a caller. Good morning. Who's this? Sorry for taking your time.
No.
I think it's Christian.
It's very nice because that is awesome.
That is awesome.
He's going to give us a report on that YouTube video. What?
Yeah,
I hadn't had a chance to watch it.
it's okay. It's 1 minute and 11 seconds. If you want to hear the audio of it, I'll be happy to play the audio for it. But once again, Mike, listen to what the man is saying. This happened after the DHS report. If you'd like to hear it, I'd be happy to play it for you.
We'll have audio won't be that good coming
Yeah,
on the line.
yeah.
So.
Okay,
we can
that's
do it
fine.
from here.
Basically, what he was talking about, he said he would be. The president said he would be interested in this ultraviolet light. I'd be interested in it. Let me know. I'd be interested in it.
Yeah.
They're doing research. He goes, and I've heard about this that bleach could possibly do it. You know, because it gets in the lungs.
Yeah.
And and bleach disinfects. So I'd like to hear more about this. Talking to the DHS people, not to the American public. He's at the podium. He's speaking. He says, "I'd like to hear more about it. Of course, you're going to have medical people test it.
Yes.
That is in the video. That's in the video from YouTube.
I'll definitely watch
Yeah.
it when I get home.
Well, you know what? If somebody comes up, if you come up and you give me something that says, you know, this Listerine. I just gave you that example. Doug gave me this thing. Why don't you try that? That is I've got a theory that this old man's stuff, the old man's mouthwash, probably it could help. I said, well, why not? What's the problem? Do I have to go get that tested? No, it's already been FDA approved. But something like he said, no, they haven't tested that by putting it in your lungs or anywhere else yet. But
No.
he would be interested if somebody wants to try it and do it safely. Go for it. Why not?
I did try to fact check, and I've yet to find anything anywhere that said any individual actually injected themselves with bleach.
Well, they've injected themselves with everything else. They may as well.
Might as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, go Lee and Kelly. If you listen to it, Rayford, if you get a chance to listen to it, he is talking to DHS personnel.
Right.
Simple as that. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay, I'll definitely listen to
I
it,
will
Mike.
listen to it tonight.
I'll definitely listen
All right,
to
8
it.
o'clock update on soon to be Hurricane Helene. Now got 70 miles per hour, sustained winds near the center. There are gusts out there. It's still off the coast of Yucatan, right bordering the northeast Yucatan Peninsula area.
Right.
And it is moving towards the northwest right now, still at about 9 miles per hour. So it's kind of zipping along. Once it passes through this little straits between Yucatan and western Cuba, it's going to pick up speed, and it's going to be moving up toward the panhandle of Florida, and it's going to cross the Gulf pretty fast. So tomorrow we'll be talking about it. Y'all need to keep your eyes on it. It is not expected to do anything other than what they anticipate. All indications are they've got a pretty good track on how it's going to go. So, and it will stay to our west. Yes, we're going to get some effects from it, bad weather, and along the coast, rip currents, and rip currents. Stay the heck out of the waters. And also the water's going to get kind of rough, so don't go out there.
Well, I'm packing my water boots and my rafts and my life jackets for my trip this weekend.
Your trip is still on?
Yep.
I think
Still on.
It is still on.
Yeah, well, be prepared to turn around and don't drown.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Final caller. Good morning.
I think it's Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hi,
Finally
Mike.
got through.
I
In the lead.
Yeah. What's
yeah,
that?
Yeah, I have to find out. But for clarification reasons, he said what he said to the American people in that video. You got to remember during COVID, it was very desperate times. People were scared. He already fumbled the vaccine. He already eliminated the White House global directive for infectious diseases, the department that corresponds with other nations to look out for stuff like COVID-19. And then when the outbreak happened, he said it forward, and you can look this up, that he said that he felt like infectious diseases were not a worry at that time. A couple months later, here comes COVID. So people can look that up. So he fumbled that.
You said fumble 3 times now. How did he fumble COVID in 2019?
2018, 2019-ish. And that's when COVID really started. I mean, it came a big deal here later, but it was already starting in Wuhan around.
Yeah, but which we didn't have any information on because we couldn't get it because it's a communist country and they won't give us any information.
Well, we wouldn't get information.
They said it came from a exposed dog meat in an open air market, right? Isn't that what China told us?
Before, but it doesn't jump straight from China to us. There's other countries, there's other things that happened before that. There's nexus to.
Yeah, and it was spreading like wildfire. We all understand that. So what can we do?
Yeah.
We put a team on it.
So what we do is we don't cancel the department that will correspond with other nations, not just China, to where we could have got a better heads up and go ahead and start.
We also stopped flights incoming from those areas, right? That's a pretty big deal. We stopped the people. We stopped the people that were coming into this country with it, right?
Yes, but you still can get a hold of the virus and start working towards vaccine
vaccine well before we even started working towards vaccine.
Well,
Maybe we could have.
who got? I mean, these other countries had the virus already, and did any of those other countries come up with a vaccine before we did? No.
They don't have the capabilities that we have with the corporations that back us to get that done.
But we fast tracked. We fast tracked. What was it? Three different companies.
We cannot accuse him of deleting that department. That's out. That's out of line.
Uh-huh.
He deleted that department. That was a mistake for one. Number two, he was the president of the United States talked to the American people, and there's a responsibility in that when you're talking to the American people, insinuating that it could work, and he heard that it's good for the lungs. People that are desperate are going to take up on that. Yeah, I know the previous caller said that he can't find cases of that, but there's absolute cases of that happening. People are hospitalized. People are also taking horse tranquilizers. You couldn't find them on the shelves of some of the local pet markets. It was getting crazy. People were desperate during that time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess people forget about that, but it was a desperate time, and things did happen. Facts do matter. So that's what I want to say about that.
All right. I just posted a couple more fact checks on what I'm finding over what you said about him firing the entire pandemic response team in 2018. And both that I have found said that it's partially false.
Yeah,
That says Trump fired pandemic response team in 2018. It has been amended to Trump fired entire pandemic response team, blah, blah, blah. And it goes on. But yeah, and see, that's the problem.
Did he fire him or not?
No. Some of the people resigned and some of them they rebanded the whole thing. I'd have to go through the whole thing to explain it, but I put it on our post.
Okay. Were they
Yeah.
effective?
The pandemic.
Were they effective,
Are you
Mike?
talking about Are you talking about the same department?
Was that team effective, Mike? Were they getting anything done?
It's a different department, sir. That's what I'm telling you.
No, I'm asking
All right.
whatever team you're talking about that was disbanded, they resigned, he fired, whatever. Were they being effective?
Were they being effective?
Yeah.
Yes, they stayed off plenty of things, and through just simple communication with other governments, there's a lot of things that we don't even get to see because of their work throughout the world.
This is the first fact check that I found. This is through USA Today. White House didn't fire pandemic response unit when it was disbanded in 2018. In May 2018, a former National Security Advisor, John Bolton, restructured Trump's National Security Council and disbanded the Global Health Unit. Its former head, Rear Admiral Timothy Zimmer, resigned from the administration and was not replaced. Though the unit was disbanded, not all members of the team left. Some moved to other units in the NSC. So they said, based on our research, the claim that President Trump fired the entire pandemic response team is partly false. The Directorate of Global Health Security and Biodefense was disbanded under Trump's then National Security Advisor, John Bolton, but Trump didn't fire its members. Some resigned and others moved to different units on the National Security Council. And that's my whole thing, is stuff comes out and you don't know what to believe. You have to go in and fact check and fact check and fact
Which I
check.
do know is two different teams, right? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I do know it's two different teams.
This is what you just said, and that's what I looked up.
Yeah, and they said it within your report that they disbanded the global health team. That is the team that goes out there and do these things. The response team is for the response. They do a totally different function of the job. So when they got that director's resignation, and you don't think that was forced, and then Trump even said in his own words that he feel like, infectious diseases globally is not a major, it's not a threat to the United States currently. And that's the reason why they did that, and they disbanded that certain team globally. You understand that, right?
Are you asking a question?
Yeah, you understand that, right?
I understand that you said it, yeah.
There's two different departments. Yeah, there's two different functionalities of that division. There's the response, and then there's the preventative. The preventative part was for the global health team. That's what got disbanded.
All right, well, I'm going to put this other fact
Okay,
check
we'll
on here for you,
go
too.
through and take a look at it because I'm not familiar with it.
Yes.
All right, Mike, it's time to go.
Thanks, Mike.
Have a good one. Okay.
There's all sorts of facts on this, and I think what it boils down
There are
to.
facts, there are misfacts, there are misstatements. There's confusion, and Mike did say it best. It was a very confusing period of time.
Right.
A pandemic. People are scared. It was a pandemic. What to do during a pandemic? We don't know. The last pandemic was 100 years earlier.
Well,
We do not remember how
Right.
to deal with it.
Joe Biden signed an executive order on his first day in office to restore a White House office to address global health security. But there's a backstory to it all.
Mhm.
So I've posted that too.
Yeah.
And you're going to find no matter who's president, they're all going to go in and reorganize and fire and replace. And it's just the way it is.
Well, and with the president coming in as polar opposite as the one that just left,
Right.
Biden versus Trump, and Biden came in and he undermined it. He just did away with everything that Trump was doing. Right? He
Right.
killed it, and then all the stuff that Trump had gotten rid of. Then he said, "Well, let's bring all that stuff back." So, are we better off today than we were then? Bottom line.
Each
Are you
president,
better off today than you were then?
each president brings his own style. He brings his
Of
own
course.
staff. That's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. It's just like we've talked about, which is a for comparison. Sheriff of Onslow County, newly elected, call walk in the day he's sworn in and fire everybody
It
and
can- it
rehire.
has been
He
ha-
could bring
it
his
has been
brothers and
done.
sisters in if he wants
Yeah, he
to.
could.
There's
I,
nothing about it.
I've gone into a company.
Mhm.
I went in. I was brought in to take over
Right.
the news operation.
Right.
Now, was I brought in to continue doing the same things that the guy they got rid of was doing? No,
That's right.
I had to explain that to a staff. I hope y'all will work with me.
If
Those of
it's,
you who do choose not to, hey,
if it's a Republican,
and those of you that I don't think can do the job, well, that's going to be okay too.
if it's a Republican president and the Democrats are going to raise immortal, Hades over the fact that he's making changes. If it's a Democratic
Yep.
president going in, the Republicans do the same thing. That's politics.
I remember a new sheriff coming into New Hanover County, and he did not rehire. You don't fire them. You just do
Right.
not keep them on staff.
Exactly.
Because all deputies have to be resworn
Right.
before they can take at the same time the sheriff is, or within a day or so.
Yes.
They have to be resworn.
Yes. To clarify. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You're right.
So that's the way that works.
Yeah. So,
Okay. So what a day. Tomorrow is Thursday.
Yes, it is.
Hey.
It's Thursday.
We're going to talk about something I like.
And we have 3 young men that are culinary students from Coastal Carolina that are coming in to talk about why they chose that field and what
I wish
they,
I had years ago.
Yeah, I wish you had too, because Kelly and I'd be,
I'd be
free,
rich.
wouldn't we, every day. Oh, I thought that was Lysol when I first looked. I thought, are you on the Lysol bleach thing now too?
No, it says apple juice.
Oh,
Look
God.
like Lysol.
Doesn't look like apple juice to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, have a good rest of your day.
Yes, we'll
The
see you
label does,
tomorrow.
but the contents don't. Have a good rest of your day. You're live and local Real Talk, and we are awake, but we are not woke. We'll see you in the morning. Have a great day. Please stay safe.